It started with a paint roller and a long weekend. I had finally found time to repaint the front of my home, a modest but well-kept craftsman-style house in the Willow Pines HOA. My wife and I had chosen a warm slate blue with white trim, classic, tasteful, and perfectly within the community's approved color palette, or so I thought. By Sunday evening, the job was almost done. I stepped back to admire the fresh look when I noticed a familiar figure power walking up the sidewalk, arms flailing like a crossing guard in a hurricane. It was her, Karen Miller, the self-appointed HOA enforcer. She wasn't the president or even a board member, but that never stopped her from acting like she ran the neighborhood. "You can't do that," she snapped before I even said hello. "Can't do what?" I asked, still holding my roller. "That color, it's not approved, and you didn't file a request with the Architectural Review Committee." I blinked. "Karen, the blue is literally on the approved palette, page 14 of the HOA design guidelines." "Well, it doesn't look like the swatch," she said, squinting dramatically. "And rules are rules. Expect a fine." I sighed. This wasn't my first encounter with Karen. She once reported my mailbox for being too modern. Another time, she tried to ban solar panels until the state attorney general got involved. But this was the first time she threatened me with a fine. I remained calm. "You might want to double-check the bylaws before you submit that." "I've already sent the violation form to the board," she huffed. "You'll be notified by mail, and don't think your little legal tone is going to scare me." I chuckled. "Karen, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to help you avoid embarrassment." That was Monday. By Wednesday, I received the official violation notice, $250 fine for unauthorized exterior paint modification. The letter was signed by the HOA's management company, who clearly rubber-stamped Karen's complaint without a second thought. So I decided to respond the formal way. On Thursday, I attended the HOA board meeting. I was dressed in a gray suit, case files in hand. The room was packed. Karen was already there, grinning like she'd won a neighborhood spelling bee. The president, Paul, welcomed me with a confused smile. "Hey, don't you work with us?" he asked. I nodded. "I'm the HOA's retained legal counsel, yes." Karen's smile faded instantly. "I'd like to address the alleged violation," I continued. "The fine issued to me violates three specific provisions in the HOA's own covenant." I flipped open the binder. First, Section 7.3 states that any paint color within the pre-approved palette does not require board approval. My color, Stormy Horizon, is listed in Appendix B. Second, the ARC was never consulted. Instead, a non-board member initiated the complaint. Third, the board acted on the complaint without providing proper notice or the opportunity for a hearing, violating procedural due process under Civil Code Section 4765. The room fell silent. Karen opened her mouth, but nothing came out. "And just for clarity," I added, "if I chose to litigate, I'd likely win, and the HOA would bear the cost. I'm not going to do that, of course. I just want the fine rescinded and a reminder sent to all volunteers that complaints must follow the chain of command, not personal vendettas." The board members quickly motioned to dismiss the fine. Paul apologized profusely and even offered to reimburse me for paint. I declined. As for Karen, she left early, her clipboard tucked under her arm like a tail between her legs. She hasn't said a word to me since. I still see her on her daily walks, eyes scanning for violations like a radar dish, but now she skips my house entirely. The irony of it all? I helped write the enforcement policy she tried to use against me. That's what happens when you bring HOA drama to the attorney who actually knows the rules.